Hey everybody, it's Bander Terrell, and I'm back again doing another Bander Builds video. This time we're going to be focusing on no-code scripting. I already did a video a couple weeks back on how to use Cursor AI and vibe coding for Second Life, where you can use AI to write code where you don't have to actually really know how to write code. It helps if you do, but you don't have to. So we're going to continue with that. This is going to be another video where we're using vibe coding with Cursor AI to write some scripts. So let's go ahead and just jump in. So many years ago, I use these still to this day. So there was a bunch of scripts that I bought from a dude whose name was Handy. I don't know if that was his name or that was the name of his brand. So I had Handy scripts for everything. I had Handy scripts for like candles, for fireplaces, for smoke, for lights in general. And you would configure it, you could a bunch of different things you could do to set them up and use them, and it was very handy, very convenient, and I would put them in stuff, and I was able to distribute things with them, so I could put them in products and ship the products and stuff, so that was very helpful. But the problem is, Handy went away, and support for all of his scripts went away, and I grew beyond just using the basic scripts and wanted to do more. So, ended up just basically, wanting to create my own scripts for that and do things myself. And it's an area of scripting that I'm not all that intimately familiar with, which is um, particles and stuff like that. So I thought it would be a good thing. I could do something that I'm not an expert at, and then we could do it together and learn how to do it using Cursor. So as I said in my last video, I'm not explaining how to set up Cursor in this. If you guys want me to do that, I can do a video just on how to set Cursor up and how to use it for Second Life to make it easy to do. So, and I'm like I said, I'm not what I would call an expert on a lot of stuff. I'm a generalist and I do a lot of stuff. I am a software architect, so I do know coding and I do know programming pretty well. And I'm very well versed in both SLUA, which is the new scripting language, and LSL. So I've been doing a lot of coding. So I take a lot of shortcuts and I do things pretty quickly. Um, so if I take any shortcuts, just let me know. And if you want me to explain things in more detail, I can as well. All right, so first step is we're going to open up Cursor, and I already created a project for this. Um, and this is the script we did last time, which was basically a menu-driven script. So if you wanted to add menus and configure the menus and make it really usable, there was an easy way to do that. So today we're going to start with a new one, and you can talk to Cursor if you prefer to use speaking to do it. But I'm going to actually type because I'm talking to you guys and I don't want to do both. So what I want to do is we're going to start with a candle. I'm going to make a simple script for a candle that looks really nice and uses particles. And so in order for me to do this, I'm going to explain to Cursor what I want to do. And I'll talk to you guys as I do it. So I want to create a new script that will go in an object in Second Life. When I click the object, it will emit a candle flame using particles. When I click again, the candle flame will go out. Very simple. Please write an LSL script for Second Life that will do this. The candle, for now, should emit light, but no smoke. I will be able to link the candle flame object to other objects. So that when I click on either flame object, flame prim, let's call it that, flame prim, or the primary / root prim, the candle will turn on and off. Make it look incredibly realistic. Incredibly realistic without using textures, with flickering of both the light and the flame. It should also, well, that's good enough. So, okay, I'm going to read that back to you. I want to create a new script that will go in an object in Second Life. When I click the object, it will emit a candle flame using particles. When I click again, the candle flame will go out. Please write an LSL script for Second Life that will do this. The candle for now should emit light but no smoke. I will be able to link the candle flame object to other objects so that when I click either on the flame prim or the primary root prim, the candle will turn on and off. Make it look incredibly realistic without using textures, with flickering of both the light and the flame. Okay, and then we're going to hit enter, and it's going to go do that. So it says planning next moves. I'm writing an LSL script for Second Life. Candle. Touching the object will toggle a realistic particle flame and flickering light. The script will support clicking either the flame prim or the linked root prim. I will use touch start events, and then it just starts scrolling what it's doing as it's thinking. I'm using the out-of-the-box cursor composer agent, so it's included in my monthly cursor bill. I'm on the cheapest plan possible, and I don't go over. They have, and with that, you get a certain amount of, what do they call the more advanced models, like Fable. I could use Fable if I want. I could use Opus or any of the other big models. But I find that for doing what I do with Second Life, the out-of-the-box agent works really, really well, especially if you set up a skill. And so a skill is a thing that you can use to tell Cursor how to do things, like how to do Second Life. So I actually got the link to the Second Life wiki. I added that into the skill. The skill is just a document. I added that link to in the skill, and I also put in rules for syntax. Things like you can't use ternary operators. You can't use reserve words like key or changed as variable names. That it doesn't support break or continue. There's a bunch of them that you run into all the time that it doesn't really know LSL really well. So you have to build that in. Same thing for SLUA. If you're doing one for SLUA, you need to create a skill document that describes basically how to do some of the specific nuanced things for Second Life. And then basically it knows that skill's there and it reads it and it uses that information to prevent it from making a lot of mistakes. All right, it's already done. So here's what it said. A new script is saved as candleflame.lsl. Here is how it works and how to set it up. Behavior. Touch anywhere on the link set root or any linked prim to toggle the flame on and off. And then it just talks about what to do and tells you how to set it up. It tells you how to tune the script. So it says you can actually you can adjust things like the flicker interval and stuff like that. There's some parameters that you could set that are in the script. And if you would do that, you would have to edit the script. So clicking on it here brings it up in the editor. This is your VS Code editor. Cursor is based on VS Code. So if you're familiar with VS Code, then you'll recognize this. I'm also using some of the Second Life add-ons that allow it to understand and interpret LSL. That's why it's color-coded. All right, so I'm just going to, I don't have round trip set up because I don't like it. It annoys me. So I do this manually. I have more control that way. So I'm just going to copy it. Control A to select everything. Control C to copy it. Then we're going to go back into Second Life. I'm going to build I like putting candle flames in spheres. So I'm going to build a sphere right there. And it's by default, it's pretty big. So I'm going to make it 0.25 by 0.25 by 0.25 meters. So it's a lot smaller. I'm going to go ahead and make it transparent as well before I put anything in it. I'm also going to call this my candle prim. I don't think, maybe I go back and read the instructions. I don't think it told me that I need to do that. Let's go back and check and see in the setup information. Maybe I have to name it a specific way. It says, setup, build your candle with a small prim at the wick for the flame, optional but recommended. Link everything. The root should be the main candle body. Put candle flame only in the root prim. Oh, it goes in the root prim. Set flame link at the top of the script to the link number of the wick flame prim. Oh, I don't like that. It says I need to set the link number because link numbers can change, right? So let's make one change to the script. I don't want to use a hard-coded link number. Instead, I will name the candle prim as candle underscore prim. So modify the script to send to turn on and off the particles for the prims whose name, there could be more than one, whose name S is candle underscore prim. And then it's going to do that. It was a good thing I read that. I wouldn't have known what to do. Updating the script to find prims by name instead of hard coding a link number. Also, the other thing I don't like is that it assumes that there's a root prim. I don't really want it to do that. Because what if I don't have a root prim? Anyway, I think this will work. Let's do it. Because right now it is the root prim. It's the only prim. But see, if I do that, then I have to move. I'm thinking. What's the best way to do this? We'll go with this for now. All right. Name your wick flame prim, candle prim. Keep the script in the root prim. Link your candle parts and reset the script. Okay. So we're going to copy this again. Now we're going to go in here and I'm going to, I can't see it, so I have to turn on view transparent. There it is. And I don't have a candle. Let me see if I can find a candle. Do I have a candle in my inventory? It's taking forever to open my inventory, or it's off screen. Oh, there it is. It's off the screen. Ha. All right, let's see. Candle. I created one the other day, so I'll use that. I already don't like how I did this. This is the way I did it the other day. Let's inspect that. So I have my candle, which is the root prim here, and then I have my candle prim, which is where the flame is there. And so let's see if I have any scripts inside of the root prim. Yeah, there's a candle on and off script in here, and then I have the actual candle flame is in there. Let's do it that way. I prefer doing it this way. And then I'm going to delete these scripts. Let's change how it did it. I want to do it this way. All right, let's go back and tell it. I have decided to change how we do this. I want the candle prim to have the candle script in it. I want a second script to go in the root prim, go in the root prim or any other prim, go in any other prim in the link set that will be called the handle on off controller. Did I write that right? I can't read what I wrote. When a user clicks that prim, it will send a link message to link set. That's everything, basically everything, right? We're going to send a link message to turn the attached candle prims on and off. Adjust the candle prim script and create the new controller script. Okay. We still haven't even tested one of them yet, but we're going to see what it does. All right, it says the candle script will now move into the candle prim itself. A new controller script will go in another prim to send link messages, splitting into a candle prim script and a controller script. All right, and it's thinking, thought for 4 seconds. And there's my new script. So both of them are done. So we have the candle flame script. I'm going to copy that. Now we'll edit this part of the candle, which is where the flame is. And then we will add a new script and open that up and paste this in. Setting running and mono, and then click save. And it compiled and says it works. Then we'll click on this part and we'll do new script. And we'll go back over here and we'll grab the controller script, Control A, Control C, and we'll paste it in. Save. And it compiled and worked. All right, so now we have my candle here. Let's go ahead and I'll turn off viewing invisible. We'll zoom in a little bit on this candle and hit click, and there is a script error. Ooh. Yep, because it didn't do it right. Let's go back. So I have a bunch of errors. I don't even know what the errors are. So I'm going to go back, and all we got to do is say, maybe I need to reset them. We'll ask cursor. Okay. I put the candle. Maybe I did it backwards. I don't think so. I put the candle flame script in the candle prim and the controller script in the candle object. It looks like a candle. Then I click and get all of this. So I just pasted the bug and it's analyzing that. LSL vector literals can't contain expressions. That's causing the PSYS part end color error. Fixing those. So I have no idea what that is. It's some kind of bug, right? And then it says, the other chat line is not from our scripts. Okay. That's from the scripts. Oh, it's saying I still have the prototype in there. I don't think so. Maybe I do. Do I still have the other scripts in there? No. Nope. So maybe I need to reset scripts. It's possible I needed a reset, so I just did a reset anyway and see what happens. It's still going to bug. Actually, it's working. I just don't see the light's working, but the flame is not. Okay, that's cool. All right. So what does it tell me to do? It says update both scripts. Okay, so this is the controller script. And we're going to update that in here. I'm going to rename this to controller too. So I don't get confused. We're going to call that controller. And then we'll click in here and we will call this, I got to copy the flame script and we will call that candle script. Okay. So I'm just going to reset scripts on them just to make sure. Done. And we will click. And we got the same bunch of errors. Why is it saying root name feudal? Oh, because it's got the, oh, okay. I think these prims have names on them. This prim, I'm going to call, we'll just call this test candle. And then this one is called candle. Oh, it's supposed to be called candle underscore prim. You know what I said I would call it? Candle underscore prim. I called it the wrong thing. Then we will reset scripts. So I did a little troubleshooting there to see what happens. Clearing out my, this is my debug. I've been working on a lot of scripts today. Okay, so that's that. What happens if I click it? Light comes on and light goes off, light comes on, light goes off. But I don't see any particles. Hmm. So let's go back to cursor and tell it that. Okay. I had removed the old scripts, but failed to name the parts properly. I have fixed that. My candle trim is now called candle trim, and the root trim, I think is called test candle or something. Can I spell? Or something. No more bugs, but when I click, I see a light and on and off, but no particle flames up here. Let it troubleshoot that. Candle click triggers a point light but produces no particle flames. Checking particle orientation, scale, and system parameters. The light numbers may also be incorrect. Now checking blend functions. And it's thinking, doing a bunch of stuff. Particles restart on every flicker. I'll stop that and only update the light on the timer. I'll drop the blend function, investigate. I think it overdid it. When I did this the first time, I started out with just a simple prim. I just said, hey, write me a simple candle script for a prim. It did. but it tried to use textures. So then I said, don't use textures. And it said, okay, it used particles. And it worked. I clicked it, it turned on, but it was sideways, so I had to rotate it. And then it looked right. It looked fine. I'll show it to you in a minute. And then, so this time it's doing something way more complicated. I don't know. So it says, what changed? Switch to pattern explode with upward Z acceleration. So the flame rises above the wick on a normally oriented prim. Larger, brighter particles so they're easier to see. Sit at the very, okay. Keep the prim. Okay. So I think what changed? The only change it did was in candle flame. So I think we only need to update that script. So we'll copy it. Then we'll go back into it and edit it. And we will save it. And I just don't see any fire. That's the problem. Maybe there is, it's just not visible. Or maybe it's underneath here. It could be that. It could be we don't know where the fire is showing up at. No, I just don't see it. I'm not seeing any particles there. Let me show you the one we did before. It was called, I think it was feudalism candle or something like that, right? Where did it go? Was that the only one I had? No. There it is. Feudalism candle prototype. There it is. See how it has a nice visible flame? Ooh, I deleted the other one. That's what I want. See how it looks like the flame turns on and then turns off like that. I like that. It has this effect up here. It looks like a flame. So this is what I want. This is not what we have. So I don't know. I'm just going to, because I already did this, I'm cheating. I'm going to get this and say, here's what I had. I'm going to give it to it and say, hey, you can do this. You can paste things. Hey, no, I'm not going to say. Here is the script we created last time that I really like. It works well. Can you compare it to what you're doing now, to your new script? Because the new script still is not showing particles. Then just paste and see what it says. I'll compare the working. Oh, he said the scale was too small. Adopting the working V4 F4 particle recipe, angle cone, follow, start scale, end scale, and light only flicker, no particle resets. All right, so it rebuilt our little it rebuilt our code based on that. So that's cheating. I could have sat here and told it, no, that doesn't, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. We would eventually got there. Okay, so this one here uses the original script. I'm gonna drag a copy of it over here. That's the original, and then this one we're going to delete the script contents, we're going to use our actual new scripts. So just go back over here and we're going to copy the controller script in here. And we're going to replace that with this. That's much more code in this one than in the new one than the old one. And then we will go into here and I'll put the new candle flame script. Oh, I know why it changed the name of it because this is not the prim I created for this. So, okay, candle flame, make sure I have it. Control A, Control C, Control A, Control V, and we'll hit save and we'll see what happens. And there it goes. So now it works. So I just wrote, I told it use basically copy my old script. So we have a script that does this. Okay. Now, if I want to do a bunch of these, I can just clone them, link them, and then I'm going to take the controller. I think I'll leave it in there, see what happens. Bing, bong, bing. You can click on these. Clicking on any of them will turn them on and off. And it generates a lot of light. Okay, so now we have a candle script. Now, but what I want to do is be able to, it's awfully bright, right? When I turn that on, it's really bright. So I want to be able to adjust the brightness and the scale of this. So if I were to scale this up, it wouldn't scale the flame up. But last time I did this, I told it when I make it bigger, when I scale the size to scale the flame. So I don't think this script is going to do that because unless it copied that part too. But let's see what happens. I'm going to clone it. And then I'm going to turn this one on. I'm going to try scaling it. Yeah, see, the flame doesn't automatically get bigger. Oh, it did. It got bigger. But it's way too big, right? So what I can do, though, is I think if I scale these back down, it should. Did that scale? No. Let's just scale one of them. Yeah, see, it doesn't scale it. All right. So now I'll tell it that. Please adjust the candle script, flame script, to scale the size and intensity of the flame, light, and light. No, I don't want to do the flame. When the object of the flame script is in scales size. Let's see what it does. It's thinking. The script already handles change something. Light scale intensity, scaling light intensity with prim size and tightening scale change handling so particles and light update together. Okay. All right, it's doing stuff. Right. Tuning. Ref emitter meters equals 0.5 reference size, 5 cube meter. Double the prim size, roughly double flame and light. Light intensity and light radius, base values and reference size. Okay. So we'll just copy that again. And we'll go back in here. And I'm going to delete this one. I want to go back to a single candle. So I'm going to clone that again, and then I'm going to edit and delete these because I don't need them. Anyway, let's get rid of this one, this one, this one, and this one, and unlink. And then we will delete those. All right. So now we're back to our original single candle. We're going to edit that and change the script. Oops. I didn't copy it. Control A, Control C, Control V. All right, so there we have our candle. Now if I will go in and say stretch this on just the candle part, make it smaller. And then if I turn it off and turn it back on, it's so small you can't see it anymore. That's probably what was wrong before. All right, we're going to stretch this. Stretch both sides. And we're going to stretch that. Now it's big. Let's see what happens. And there you go, much bigger. Okay, so now, I don't know if you could tell, but let's turn that back on again so you can see that it's a much bigger flame than we had on these. See how the size is different? But let's really ramp it up a bunch. I'm gonna turn it off. We're gonna scale this thing way bigger so you can really see the difference. Now it's huge and the flame is big. See? So now you can adjust this and you can adjust the size of the size of the candle flame. And let's see how that looks. So anyway, I'm pretty pleased with that. I think that turned out really well. So now we have a candle that you can turn on and off, and it scales the size of the candle and the flame to the size of the prim that the candle flame is in. And then I can unlink this. I can link them together. I can do whatever. And let's see if clicking the candle flame also turns it on and off. It probably should, yeah. But what if I unlink these? Yeah, it doesn't, see. So what I want to do is let's modify the script to do that. Oh, wrong button. Okay. I also want clicking the candle the flame prim to also toggle the candle on and off. So, but only for itself. I don't want it to, if I have multiple candles, I don't want it to turn all the candles on and off. I only want it to just do my candle. So, okay, so I said, okay, I also want clicking the candle flame prim to also toggle the candle on and off, but only for itself, not any others. Not any others that may be linked. And then we'll see what it says. And it's adding a touch handle on the candle prim, so each flame script toggles only itself. So I don't need to know anything about particles. I don't need anything. I did know a little bit about some code, so stuff like link this and link set. So I use those technical terms. But if you just describe what you want, it'll understand it. It'll figure it out. So let's go copy that code. Go back in And we're going to modify that candle prim. We're going to modify that script like that and just hit save. So now if I click it, it turns on. This is not attached anymore. So if I relink this, if I edit this back to here, link it again. Now if I click the candle, it turns on. If I click the candle flame, it also turns off. Okay. And then if I go back and do like I did before, where I'm going to clone that, and then I'm going to clone several of these together to make like a candelabra. And oops, link these three things together. Now clicking any candle turns them on. Clicking again turns them off. Or if I do individual ones, I can turn them on and off individually. And there you go. So now we could add some things like, let's add some controls to control the intensity of the light, maybe uh, how far the radius of the light. Those are all parameters that you could do. But maybe I would want to do that with like some kind of thing where I say something on a certain channel and it would control them. Or I want to add a menu. So when I click the root prim, instead of toggling, I could actually have it pull up a menu, and one of the options in the menu could be on or off. And also give me controls to control all of the light settings. So I can control the intensity of the lights and stuff like that. I could add that and it would build it and I would be able to do it. And then you would want to say, okay, do I do it for all the flames or do I only do it for certain flames? And then if that's the case, maybe you need to rename those prims instead of just naming them all the same. Maybe they need to have individual names. There's so many things you could do. Anyway, so that's it again. So I didn't write a single line of code and we got that working. And it's pretty simple. I don't know if it seems simple to you guys, but it's pretty amazing that you have the ability to do that. Now, let's say I want to add smoke to these. So I want to say I want to add a little bit of smoke. So I'm going to delete this set again and go back to the original. Let's go back to cursor and tell it, okay, great. Now, let's add a little bit of smoke rising up from the candle when it is on. Please make the smoke look cool and fit the size of the candle flame as appropriate. Let's see if we can do it. I don't know if it can. I don't even know if this is something technically possible. Can you do both flame and smoke from the same prim at the same time? Let's see what it says. Oh, it says you need another prim. It says you need something called a smoke prim. Yep. It says you have to have it. And so the script is going to tell me if I don't have a smoke prim, it's going to tell me you need to add a smoke prim. So it's making the script intelligent. I didn't ask for that, but it tries to be very helpful. And it tries to do things in a way that makes whatever you're doing usable. So it's making it user friendly. So there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unlink this. I'm going to clone this prim and we're going to call it smoke. Oh, it's not called candle prim. It's called candle flame. Smoke prim. I think it figured out that I had named it wrong. And then I'm going to move it up a little higher so you'll see where the smoke comes from. And we'll go ahead and link that back. Now it says, okay, setup. Add a tiny prim at the wick named smoke underscore prim. Same position as candle underscore prim. So I think I need to rename that candle underscore prim. Edit link, we're going to call that candle underscore. The reason it lost the name is because I'm using this candle that I made before and it didn't have the name. So that's why it's like that. Okay. So we're going to call it smoke. Where's it at? Add a tiny prim called smoke underscore prim, which I just did. Link it to the candle. Keep candle flame in candle prim only. It controls both flame and smoke. The script finds the nearest smoke prim within 0.75 meters of each candle prim, so multiple candles in one link set each get their own smoke. That's kind of far apart. It's 3/4 of a meter. I'm not sure that'll work right, so we may have to adjust that. Okay, and it says what the smoke looks like, and then it says how it behaves. And so if no smoke permit, you'll get an owner message once flame and light still work normally. Okay, so we're going to copy this, and then we're going to modify our candle prim and save it. It's already 484 lines of code in this script. All right, so there we go. Let's see what happens when I turn it on. And there's my smoke coming out. And it's up there because that's where I put my prim. So if I edit that and bring it down, I have way too much. So maybe I need to make this smaller. That might be too small. There we go. I don't know if it's going to adjust the size of the smoke based on the size of that, but we'll see. Turn it off. Turn it on. Yeah, it does. And now I can barely see I have any smoke. So we're going to go back. Yeah, I see there's smoke right there. See it? There is smoke. So I'm going to edit that. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Stretch it. Go up a little bit. Then turn it off. Turn it back on. And there we have. There's some smoke coming out. You can see the smoke. Oops. I think it's a bit too much smoke. But yeah, don't you think that's a little bit too much smoke? I'm gonna tell it to see if we can tone that down just a little bit. Maybe the density is a little bit. Normally I would talk, so I'm having to type. So it seems the smoke is a little dense. Can you make it thinner? And then it's going to adjust the parameters. Now I could also say, make it so that I can adjust all these parameters. That's what Handy did. Handy, you could adjust all these different parameters. But that's just more time. So the point of doing this, what I was trying to get you to see is that by the time I go hunt down a script, figure out how to use it, configure it, and do all this stuff, I could already have a new one written and be using it. All right, we're going to try this and see if that helps. We're going to copy this, edit. And I have, so why this panel keeps popping up, I have all owner messages get routed to my debug script, my debug window, because I don't like them showing up in my chat. So I have them all coming into this message. So it's giving me a bunch of input. All right, so there we go. I'm going to update this and save it and turn it off and back on. And there we go. Now the much thinner, much more candle-like smoke coming out of there. All right, that's bad. Sorry, that's bad, but there you go. We now have a candle with a little bit of smoke coming out of it, which is actually pretty cool. And again, we didn't write a single line of code. We had a little glitch at the beginning because it didn't do things, but that was because the scale of the particles was too small. I didn't know that. I don't know particles well enough to figure that out. But we would have been able to figure that out sooner or later just by talking to it and telling it and describing the problems to it. Anyway, so that's it, I think, for today. Ah, so to reiterate, we used Cursor AI, which is a free program that you can use. It does have a good free limit, what you can do for free. You can do a bunch of stuff. You can write a lot of code. But if you do pay a little bit, it's like $25 a month. You get much bigger limits on what you can do, and you get access to the higher paying models, um, a good amount actually. And so for really complicated things, I'll bring them in and ask them to audit my code or to design things or even to write some of the code. Um, but generally speaking, I'd say within the last 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months, you really don't need them anymore. The Composer 2.5, which is what is used by Cursor, can do pretty much anything you need done very, very well. And I used to have to do a lot of crazy stuff. I would use Gemini in one window, I had Copilot in another window, and I had Cursor running in another window, and I would constantly have to go back and forth. Cursor's doing this. Does that make sense? Should I be worried? And then Gemini would go, "Oh, that's really bad. You should do this." And then I would go, maybe I better have Copilot check what Gemini did. So I would have like this workflow, and I would get Gemini to design something, how it would work, and then I would tell Cursor to do it, and I would have it do it prompt by prompt. And sometimes I still do this. I'll have Gemini write the prompts to give to Cursor. But now I find Cursor by itself doesn't need a lot of hand holding. Now you will run into problems where it starts hallucinating and starts doing crazy stuff. So if that happens, what you need to do is just create a new agent. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Um, actually, you can see I have two different projects here. So I have a big project over here, which is my role playing game, Feudalism, that it's actually working on right now. It's actually I have it generating a bunch of stuff right now while we're working on this because it's multi agent and you can do parallel things. So you can have and they run in the background. So you can have a whole bunch of agents doing code on this while it's writing up a document, while it's building your website, while it's debugging something else. And it'll connect to servers. It'll give you if it's hard to do with Second Life because it's in Second Life. But if you're doing web-based stuff, it'll actually show it to you and you can actually touch and feel and play with it. Which I'm doing for some arcade games that I created. So I'm creating arcade games for Second Life that'll run in Moap using Cursor. And I can show you that. So I think we're done with this project. Um, so let me just show you that. So I'm going to go up here to say File, Open Folder. Everything's done in folders. So you just tell it you want to open a different folder. I think I can do recent. Let me do that. File, Open Recent, and where's it at? Arcade games. Boom, there we are. So this is my project for creating these different arcade games. And so I was working on something that was like Star Wars. So you can actually test it right here. I'm taking damage. All right, that's Star Wars. But if I said, okay, let's see, I'll show them to you in world. So I've created Space Invaders, Galaxian. I was working on Galaga. I did Missile Command, Pac-Man, and I was working on a Star Wars game. I have designed for a Defender game. So I'm basically cloning a bunch of old arcade games and doing it all in Cursor. But let me show you how it looks in Second Life. So open up my inventory and we'll go, what was it called? Missile. I called it Missile Defense. I think that's what I called it. There it is. Uh, it runs in Moap, which is media on a prim. and I have it doing the HUD opens up an HTTP server, and so the app runs in. I think I'm running it in GitHub Pages is hosting my app, and it will open a connection to the HUD so that it can send information down into the HUD. So we have like high score and a leaderboard. That information stored in a database using the experience database inside of Second Life. And so if you have if you're on a sim that uses the experience, it'll give you the ability to see the high scores in the leaderboard. If you're not, it'll just tell you that feature's unavailable because you're not in a sim that supports it. But anyway, this is missile defense. It's actually Missile Command, the old arcade Atari game, and look familiar. So, yeah, this took about an hour. Oops, I missed. So I wrote this. I didn't write it. I had Cursor write it. I just told it what I wanted. I said, "Hey, make me a clone of Missile Command. Call it Missile Defense, SL Missile Defense." And it did. Yeah, I had to tweak it a little bit. And so I spent maybe a half a day on it at most. Like it built the basic game, and I said, "Oh, what about the dudes that fly by and drop things on you? Oh yeah, we need those. What about gaining bonus cities? Oh yeah, you need that." So like, there's the guy dropping stuff on me. We're gonna get him. And these two are gonna come together right there. Oh no, we didn't. That was close. Um, anyway, so again, this is a HUD, and the game runs in the HUD. So I'm probably going to put it on a table too. I have a tabletop version. Um, but again, this is revolutionizing how I do things in Second Life and how I'm able to do all the stuff I'm able to do. So I've created a role playing game, and it is an advanced role playing game. I'll show it to you with combat, archery, crafting, gathering, hunting, farming. It's called feudalism, and I can show you. Let me find where I have it. These are all this I've created. These are all scripts, by the way, that I create in Cursor. All of these different things. So this is the HUD. Okay, so this is the HUD. It's a traditional SL HUD with components and things that you would do the normal way. But then if you click options, it actually opens up a MOAP, media on a prim, and it's pulling this from a database. I have it connected to Firebase, Firestore, and all of these images. And it's basically a web-based app for a role-playing game. So you can create a character. This one's called Bander Tyrell. He's Lord of the Reach. And these are your genders, and it's all configurable. You can create universes. So if you have a sim and you want to be kind of like Lord of the Rings, we can set it up and configure it all using this interface. So it'll say which genders you allow for your universe, which species you allow for your universe, and which classes you allow for your universe. And then you have some degree of configuration for that. So if I wanted to be female, I would select this gender. If I wanted to be a hermaphrodite, I could pick this one. But I'm male, so I selected that one. Then I have species: human, elf, dwarf, halfling, gnome, dragonborn, half elf, half orc, tiefling, drow, demon, imp, werewolf, vampire, merfolk, fairy, satyr, minotaur, reptilian, kobold. And there's a lot more, and they're not here because you can configure that by species. I mean, not by species, by universe. So this universe doesn't allow. I have another universe that's the Spellmonger universe, which has a whole different set of characters, species. I have one called Sengoku, which is a Japanese mythology universe built into the game. So it has all these different Japanese species and classes that you can pick. So, like for classes, you go over here, these are all the different classes that are available in the game. I think altogether there's 200 something of them that you can use. The grayed out ones aren't available to me because of my current path. But if I were to go back and look at these if I go to the admin screen, you can actually see this is where I administer all the classes. You can see all of them in here and manage them. So anyway, that's all done with Cursor. Every bit of this is this is different. This is a little different because this is 10 years old and I've been working on it for 10 years. Version 4, Feudalism 4, which is the most recent edition that we're working on now, it is done in Cursor. But I took the old scripts that I had, brought them into Cursor, and then revolutionized them. That's the power that you have with Cursor. I created other games using this. I created a game called Feudal War, which is it's kind of like Magic the Gathering. I have a card game. I have HUDs Against Reality, which is basically Cards Against Humanity. I have a poker game. All these games I created using Cursor. And you can too, and you don't have to really know coding. It helps a lot, but you don't have to. For simple things like this, candle stuff, it doesn't matter. Anyway, let me know what you think. Drop me a comment or two if you want. And if you do like what I'm doing, please like the videos and subscribe to my channel and come back for more. I'll talk to you guys next time. We'll do some more with this. And if you have some suggestions or some ideas or things you want to see how we can do it, we can do that too. We'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.